And what will save us ultimately? We've got Peter Schiff, a president of Euro-Pacific Capital, with me tonight. He's also the author of the Little Book of Bull Moves in Bear Markets. And University of Massachusetts, Boston professor Christian Weller, senior fellow at the Progressive Learning Center for American Progress. Welcome to everybody. Let me start where we started, frankly, which is the auto deal, or what Democrats in Congress are telling the auto industry. Show us the plan, we'll show you the money. Christian, in your view, what should the plan be? What should they come back with?
Well, I think it's important we do have to have a plan. It's important to understand that the auto industry is still a place where there are good jobs with good wages, and that's exactly what we need. But I think we need to fight back on this brazen arrogance that we saw from the leaders yesterday that waltzed into Congress and just simply said, like, give us the money. And I think the important plan part is here, a plan that moves the auto industry towards more fuel-efficient cars, a plan that limits executive compensation, and a plan that protects employee benefits, because the employee groups have already given up substantial amounts in the ongoing restructuring in the industry.
But, Peter, I know there are a lot of people who say that all of this is simply rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, that no plan is ultimately going to save the auto industry.
If the government just takes taxpayer money and gives it to GM, they're just going to lose the money and be back for more. We have to let these companies go bankrupt. We have to let the capital that they're using be redeployed and let people who can run a profitable automobile company take over. You know, the problem is, you know, they have these union contracts that are too lucrative. They have all these benefits that they promise for health insurance, for pensions. They have too much debt on their balance sheet, and they can't make cars profitably. And what we don't want is the government determining what type of automobiles GM should be manufacturing. Because if we think they're losing money now, wait till we see how much more money we lose when the government is running them.
Well, but we're at this point. Let me just jump in here.
Go ahead.
I think the important point is we're scratching our heads why the TARP and all this bailout money doesn't work. And the main thing is because when we throw money at the financial markets and that's it, we leave it at that, we simply assume that this kind of pie in the sky policies that we've been pursuing for a number of years, where money somehow falls into the laps of consumers, will continue. And what we're forgetting is we need to get income growth back on track. And for that, we do need a strong middle class. And unfortunately, for Mr. Schiff, a strong union movement, a strong labor movement is one of the most proven ways of strengthening and building a strong middle class.
That destroys jobs. What creates the middle class is low regulation and low taxes. We had a strong middle class in the 60s and 70s when we had a strong labor movement, and the labor movement shows clearly in the numbers. The numbers show very clearly that when you have a strong labor movement, when you have strong unions, you have the countervailing forces to rein in the excesses that we see in the boardrooms in America.
All right, Christian, hold on one second. Reality check, because frankly, Christian sounds to me like somebody who's making a case from the 70s. I mean, that's just not related to the conversation we're having.
No, I'm making a case for bringing back America's middle class.
There are a handful of reasons, Christian,
we have ignored for 7 years.
All right, Christian, hold on. I want Allie in here. Hold it,
There are a handful of reasons why the U.S. auto industry, the domestic auto industry, is in the crisis it's in, and one of them is the union. There's no question. I don't think that argument is sound. But Peter, you are one of the smartest guys I know, and you've predicted a lot of what's happened out here, but deep in there's a heart somewhere. You can't let the companies fail so that they can restructure and capital can flow where it was. What happens to the million-plus workers
I'm with
who are
Allie
put
on
out of
this.
work?
I mean, we're talking about a whole lot of people.
Well, remember, the government doesn't really have any money, so they have to redirect money from someplace else. Right. So let's focus on all the jobs that the government's going to destroy in order to save the jobs.
Why don't we start those jobs? Here's the thing. These companies are not all in the same boat. We talk about bankruptcy. We're largely talking about General Motors, which is in danger of bankruptcy. Chrysler is a private company. We have no idea how bad things are at Chrysler.
So here's
Ford
my question.
is relatively healthy.
Can you let GM go and focus on saving the other two?
The government can't do anything. Why should we prop up an unprofitable company and tax profitable companies to subsidize them? Look, I think we need an automobile industry in this country, but we don't need this automobile industry. We need a profitable automobile industry that's making cars that the public wants to buy at a price they can afford.
What is that? Who is that? Who does that?
Well, we'll find out. Let's find out in bankruptcy. Let's let somebody buy these assets.
The attitude that the government can't do anything is exactly the policy attitude that we've had for the last 7 years.
That's not true.
That got us into this mess.
No, it didn't.
We've had an administration and a Congress through 2006 that just simply turned a blind eye to the economic problems that were piling up.
The government created these problems.
Rising debts. I didn't see the government.
We're getting into the weeds here a little bit.
Okay,
hold on. We're going to take a quick break because I want to try to bring this back to a little bit of big picture. We're getting lost in the weeds and we're sort of missing the point. So stay with me. When we come back, our Gary Tuckman is in Moraine, Ohio, where plants are already shutting down right now, and it's a preview of what we're talking about, of where all of this may be heading. Take a look.
Have you started looking for a job already?
Oh, yes. I've been to an interview.
And how did they go?
I don't know. They haven't called me back, so I guess it didn't go too well.
That situation has a lot of people, including President-elect Obama, thinking a lot about FDR, about his New Deal, about the way he put unemployed workers back to work, rebuilding the country. We're going to talk about that. There's some disagreement here. Shock, big surprise.